Here we go. Chris Biederman is joining us, covering the A's, senior reporter for the Sacramento Bee. Chris, great to have you on, and welcome to Foul Territory. Welcome to Sacramento Major League Baseball. How were the
Yeah,
first few days there? Obviously, you can go over what you saw on the field and what you've been experiencing in Sacramento in terms of the fans receiving this team.
yeah. Thanks for having me. It's been pretty surreal because I've been, going to River Cats games in different capacities since like 2008, and to see Major League Baseball there has been kind of crazy. But it's been very unique, and there was a lot of excitement. I think the atmosphere was really good, albeit just under 14,000 fans there for opening night, and then you kind of saw the crowd numbers taper off a little bit. You had over 12,000 there on Tuesday, and then over 9,000 there in a matinee getaway day on Wednesday, and things weren't really helped by the fact that the A's gave up the most runs they've given up in their first three games of their home season since 1922. So it's been a little bit rough from that standpoint. The wind has been blowing out, and the Cubs have taken advantage far more than the A's did. But it's a real interesting situation. You have the team that the A's are sharing the ballpark with is the Sacramento River Cats, of course, who are the Giants' top affiliate. And I think the town before the A's got here has been kind of split between Giants and A's, like much of Northern California. And so it wasn't going to be a slam dunk that there were just going to be legions of A's fans coming to Sacramento. And obviously, many A's fans have been pretty disenchanted by the direction of the organization and the decision to move out of Oakland. So it's just a really interesting dynamic, a very polarizing situation, a lot of strong opinions going both ways. And yeah, it's been very unique, and we'll see where it goes from here.
Does it feel like, I know the season's early, but does it feel like the organization, the Oakland A's organization, has really like put a bunch of signs up and let the city know, hey, you know what? We're here now, and like promoted the team, or are they just kind of sitting on their hands hoping people come out?
Yeah, so what's interesting is they've partnered with the River Cats, which are owned by the Sacramento Kings and Vivek Ranadive, and the Kings have really handled a lot of the marketing and a lot of the business and ticket sales operations. And so, yeah, there's been a little bit of it, but it doesn't really feel like the A's town, right? Like there are billboards, but they're not like everywhere. The A's, of course, did not make Sacramento as part of their team name. They're the only team in North American major sports without a city attached to their name. They're just the Athletics. And so I think some people in Sacramento, rightfully so, are a little bit miffed by that. And I asked John Fisher about that specifically on Monday, the team's owner, and he kind of sidestepped the question, and he said, "Look, this is an amazing development for Sacramento. There's Major League Baseball here. The Chicago Cubs are in town," without really acknowledging the fact that they aren't really adopting Sacramento. They're not putting it on the uniforms. They do have a patch with the Tower Bridge. That's cool. They gave out hats on opening night that have the Tower Bridge patch on the center of the hat. But that there's no apparel you can buy that says Sacramento on it. At least none that I've seen. And I'm not sure if that's going to change or not. But the A's did file for the trademark for Sacramento A's, but they aren't making any apparel with it. So they're not fully embracing it from that standpoint, and I think there are some fans in town who are a little miffed by that, but also the A's have made it pretty clear that their goal is to make this a temporary venue because they have sites on Las Vegas, which they hope to open that domed ballpark on the Vegas Strip in 2028. We'll see if that happens. Obviously, the A's don't have the best history when it comes to finalizing stadium deals and getting shovels in the ground, but they're optimistic that it's going to happen. So we'll just have to wait and see.
Chris, a couple things before we dig in. One, nice slave one behind you, whatever it's called now, Lego. So that's cool. I have two of those in my house.
Oh, thank you.
So
Thank you.
sweet touch. Second of all, I played in Sacramento in 2000, 2000,
Mhm.
and it was a launching pad. So this doesn't surprise me, the run scored. But my real question is they say 14,000 seat stadium. Do you know what the attendance recorded by Major League Baseball was on the first game in Sacramento?
Yeah, it was it 12,019 or something like that?
12,119. So where in the
Yeah.
holy hell are they getting it's a 14,000 seat stadium if on the first game of the year against the Cubs, now against a team that has a national following, right?
Hmm.
The Chicago Cubs, they only draw 12,000. The next night I think was 10,000, like you said. And then the third night was not under 9,000, or hold on, I'm looking here. 10,000 the second night. Uh, yeah, 10,095. And then yesterday was 9,000, I believe. I know it was a getaway day. It was a
Hmm.
day game. But where do they keep coming up with this fake number of 14,000? Are they talking about, the vendors, the clubhouse guys, the bat boys, the birds circling the stadium? I'm super confused because then they had 9,300 there yesterday. So where do they get 14,000 from? Because I can't figure it out.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I think that I know they have 10,000 fixed seats, and then they have a few extra thousand that they can fit out in right field and right center field in the grass berm area, and they sell those tickets day of for $25. So yeah, I'm not really sure. And I know the A's were putting it out. They put it out over the summer that they sold all of their premium season tickets for the season. They put it out in January that they sold out all of their season tickets. So apparently all the season tickets have sold out per the team's messaging. But you look at the pure attendance numbers of who's actually been in the ballpark, and it would indicate that it's not as successful as the team was talking about beforehand. So I know. Look, as I mentioned, the A's are partnering with the Kings in this. The Kings are, Vivek Ranadive has been very vocal about how he wants this to be an opportunity for Sacramento to maybe lure an expansion team, and city leaders and politicians and business leaders have all said the same thing. So I think the messaging early on was, look how much interest there is. Look how many people are buying tickets. And then you see the first three games, they fall flat, not only on the field, but it seems like they fell flat in terms of attendance. And man, if that's what the first three games looks like, you got to be a little bit worried about what it looks like when, it's 100 degrees in the middle of June and July. Um, are people going to still want to come out, particularly if the team's not winning? And I am optimistic about, what the team is. It's a young, exciting team, particularly offensively. They have not pitched well at all early on. But yeah, I'm with you, AJ, in that, like, I'm not really sure where these ballpark numbers were going. I know there was a lot of messaging coming from the team side about the season tickets and stuff, and we frankly the first three games have been kind of a letdown from that standpoint.
How has the field played these three games compared to what you saw otherwise? Is it big leaguers making a minor league park look like a minor league park? Or is this an anomaly and it'll start to get, because once it gets warmer, we know the ball flies even more.
Yeah, the ball definitely flies in the summer months. I will say the wind that they had this week was blowing out towards right center field, which is typically not the prevailing wind. The prevailing wind typically blows in. And so, it was a little bit unique from that perspective. It was pretty cold. It was in the 50s and 40s late in these games, the first two nights. So it was chilly, but the ball really carried because of the wind. And as far as the field goes, that's kind of another interesting subplot. I'm sure you guys are well aware the initial plan was to have an artificial surface there because there are 150 some odd games played at Sutter Health Park between the A's and River Cats. Ultimately, the players union stepped in. They went with natural grass, and they did all they could to have a really regenerative surface that has a super unique injection system when it comes to nutrients and things like that. So apparently the grass is going to be able to bounce back from all the wear and tear. But again, that's another thing we'll have to see in the summer. Is it going to get super baked out in July and August? Is it, are there going to be massive brown spots in where the outfielders are? Those are all really significant questions when you get to the summer and the summer heat. But yeah, I think the ball is going to carry regardless if it's late March, early April. You'll get the wind blowing out to right center field in June and July. You'll get the wind coming in from that direction, but the ball will still carry because of how warm it is. So I do expect it to be more hitter friendly. And we'll see if the A's pitching can combat that at all, because they certainly haven't during the first three games.
Hey, everybody. Be sure to like and subscribe for more content.
We're back here every weekday, all year long, so do not miss an episode.
The videos are coming in all day. Here's another video you might enjoy.
Baseball the way it should be covered.